and Jesse Martineau.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and way in the Grove, in the back end of the Grove, the one and only Jesse Martineau.
It's quite the trek for you to come out here.
It feels like a day trip for me, man. I'm telling you.
It's like 10 minutes away.
if that.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Mark Pavelich there. I'm Jesse. Me and Jesse podcast starting right now. How are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm enjoying the summer weather, and of course, I took up golf again, which is quite comical. And it's not like riding a bike, everybody, at home, just in case you want to know that.
It isn't.
It's very few sports are, though. If you ever notice that, you know, like if you were doing something as a kid and you excelled at it, it doesn't translate when you're in your 50s or 60s. It's really a different thing altogether. I think the perfect sport for me would be pickleball moving forward and hiking. So I think the two together, that's my niche. I will continue to play golf. But I prefer to hit balls now more than I do to play. So I enjoy hitting balls. I just like a machine, like just machine ball. So and hence the tee box in
yes, you had a tee box installed on your lawn.
I did, and I think it's super important. But I enjoy that, you know, like I enjoy sitting back there and shooting balls all day, like you know, whenever I have a chance, and it's fantastic. But it is what it is, and like I said, I'm going to continue to play golf for the rest of my life now. I know that for sure.
Well, there were some balls hit over the weekend at the British Open.
Bring it up. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, you know, the British Open, it's the major, it's the
Open.
It's the Open, so everyone can come, even live golfers. And you know, but that being said, I really do believe, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. PGA is losing. They're losing bad.
I think not just losing. I think they're corrupt. I think the PGA Tour is corrupt, and I think this is what the crazy part about the whole Jesse. I have actually lost sleep about this. It's bothered me so much because it has nothing to do with golf. You know what it has to do with? PGA just pulled the bully move of bully moves this weekend at the British Open. Now, if I was Dustin Johnson, and I was Bruce Koepka, and I was Bryson DeChambeau, and I was these players, literally not allowed to come to any press conferences, the shittiest tee-off times, everything. Like, you understand that Jay Monahan, I don't know how he's going to be the commissioner of the PGA after a year or two from now, because
he'll be known as the guy that sunk the ship.
Yes.
I mean, really. I mean, what else can he do? Like, you can't come to a press conference? Like,
yeah.
I mean, really, that the network should have been like, no. I mean, I understand whoever like sponsored CBS or whatever it was. Obviously, maybe they wouldn't because it's they got the deal with it, but everyone else should have been all over those golfers. Well,
did you see how many guys from the Live Tour that made the cut? There was like 15 guys that made the cut for the British Open. That none of them were shown on television. Dustin Johnson was in the hunt at one time.
The world number one, mind you.
Yeah, he was like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, like in the after the second day, and they weren't even showing him on television. And at one point, they showed him in a bunker, and they showed him, and then when he hit the shot, they zoomed away from him. Like I was like, "Is this a joke?" And what I'm telling you, Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, has to be looked in immensely. And I'm telling you why, because let me explain this to you. Forget the Saudi Arabia thing, everybody. You have to get that out of your head. And I'll tell you why you got to get out of your head. Because Saudi Arabia is involved in everything under the planet, and everything from F1 racing to the PGA, to probably some sponsorship on the PGA Tour somewhere, if we trace it long enough. And of course, they're funding the Live Tour. Now, the part that really pisses me off to the max is that these guys are subcontractors. Okay, everybody at home, listen to what I'm saying to you. the players on the PGA Tour are subcontractors. They're not mandated to play every golf event every week. They can play whenever they want. You have to qualify for the PGA Tour. Once you qualify for the PGA Tour, then it's up to you how many events you want to play in a year or where you want to play them. That's solely up to you. They can't make you play in events. They can't, whatever the case may be, which also would tell you if you want to go play in Africa, if someone puts on a golf tournament that says you're going to win $10 million, which they have in the past, other people, it wasn't like a live tour. It was just a single golf tournament, and Tiger and everybody flew over there to get that cheese. And now all of a sudden they're all holding the moral compass about, oh my God, I can't believe those guys on the live tour. What I can't believe is the PGA Tour is so far behind times that they are selling a game of golf to people that are dying.
Well, they haven't been able to scale down their age. And again, like their business plan is to pray for another golfer like Tiger to come along. That's it. That's all they got.
And remember we talked about it, Jesse? When was the last time? Who was the golfer before Tiger Woods? His name was Jack Nicklaus. That was 40-year gap before someone else came.
And so they're hoping that can happen again. But the problem is that this is a different era. It's a different time, and people already know those kids that are coming up if they care. So it's going to be someone that has to play the game outside of the game. Someone that's not only amazing at golf, but also knows how to play the social media game, the getting their face out there game. And right now, Liv is the only one that knows how to do that. They know how to post. They know how to put it on a production already. They have the most diverse television crew. If you're worried about that kind of stuff.
Did you see, Jesse? You're actually right about that. It's not 4 white guys, doing the telecast. It's every denomination you could possibly think about doing the telecast for Live Golf. That's how woke the PGA Tour is. They're not woke, everybody. Listen, go check right now at the Masters. Don't take my word for it. Let me explain this to you right now. I love the game of golf, and I said this to someone the other day. You know what happened to me? Golf. I thought that golf owed me something when I was a kid, and then I figured out as I got older, I owe golf. Okay, and when I say I owe golf, I mean I owe golf, not the PGA Tour, not anybody. It's golf. I owe golf. And what I'm trying to tell people at home is, if you want to see a great game, why do kids not be able to play anymore on golf courses? Do you know that, Jesse? That's an ongoing trend, eh? Junior golf has dissipated. When I was a kid growing up in Windsor, Ontario, at Roseland Golf and Country Club, I was allowed to play the par 3 course as much as I want all day long. I was allowed to use the range. I was allowed to play the big course. I was allowed to do anything. They valued us. They treated us like kings when we were growing up as kids, and we knew how to act. They taught us how to act. We knew how to have etiquette when we played the game of golf. And I thought to myself, and I see kids now, and I said, you know what, man, maybe me and the Jesse podcast is going to start that for next summer. We're going to start a fund on our page for kids that want to learn how to go play golf on the ranges in the city we live in, and we'll kick in for them for a bucket of balls if they want to go hit a bucket of balls, because most kids can't even afford to go do that. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, a sport. It's not like soccer. It's not like where can a kid go take a golf ball and stick it in a park and hit the ball anymore? You can't do that no more, right? When we were kids, you could do that. You can't do that anymore. But when I'm trying to tell you something, you go from the Masters, go check this clan mentality. And I'm using the word clan mentality in the PGA Tour.
Man, you want to say this? 2019 was when women were allowed to golf at Augusta National. 2019.
Jesse,
women members were only allowed in at 2012, and they weren't even allowed to golf. It was the first time in 2019. So you want to talk about, how bad other things are.
You want to talk about Saudi Arabia.
I understand that there is bad stuff going on there, but they're actually trying to shift that, and everyone always wants them to be like America. Well, it's not America, number one. Other countries aren't America, so there's that. But that being said, there's if you want them to start to shift, you have to show them how it's done. But Augusta National didn't allow women on the course until 2019.
Crazy.
There were no women was allowed to golf at Augusta.
Everybody,
I mean,
you hear me? He said 2019. Okay, that was 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, man. Are people crazy? Like, and you're dogging Live Tour, and you're dogging what they're doing, but it's crazy because you're sitting around going, listen. If you do more research, you'll find out that the African American community couldn't golf at most of the golf courses on the PGA Tour were neglected. And I'm not talking about 40, 30, 20 years ago. I'm talking 10, 15 years ago, right, guys? So you want to talk about an organization that's so woke like the PGA Tour. You better go check, man. Listen, they're doing it right now, though. While we're doing the Me and Jesse podcast, PGA Tour is doing this right now because Jesse used the word diversity. And they're like this. They're looking that word up right now going, wait a second. Can we replace this person and put this person in? We need to get someone in that position because I'm telling you, man, if you watch a PGA Tour, this is two white guys on the Me and Jesse podcast telling everybody.
If you want to say this, the first ever, African American that was allowed to play was Lee Elder, 1975. They didn't allow a member to be a part of the club until 1990. That's a black member, man.
Wow.
Women, 2012, they were allowed to be members. Didn't get to play until 2019. I mean, that is the hierarchy behind PGA Tour. That's the hierarchy behind it.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, all right. Let's say, okay, well, they're trying. Fine. That being said, they're stuck on that still. They don't even know about social media yet. They don't even know about how to market themselves yet. They banked on, 50, 60 years of being on TV, but guess what? TV's going away. TV is slowing down, and everyone knows it. Ratings are down for everything. And so what do? You have to be progressive in that stuff, and the only way you're going to survive is by actually appealing to a younger demographic, because your demographic's scaling out. I've seen so many posts since we did the show talking about Live Golf. I've seen so many people flaming Live Golf for the Saudi Arabia thing. There's no other reason. There's no other reason that they have, and again, fine. But F1, arguably the most woke sport there is, went to Saudi Arabia. And yes, there was controversy and stuff, but the drivers all said, you know what? Hey, they're letting us be who we want. They're letting us say what we want. We're going to say it proudly here so that people can hear it. And that's what they did. And unless you do that, you're not going to win a younger demographic that cares about that stuff more than about a club that didn't allow women to play on it until 2019.
Can you imagine all the shows we've ever done? Okay, you and I together. Ever have we ever talked about golf like we are now? No. You know why we're talking about golf? Because it has nothing to do with golf. What we're talking about, nothing. It has to do with human rights. It has to do with equality. It has to do with just alone. What's more, you don't like the Saudi Arabia part. You know what I don't like? I don't like the communism part of the PGA Tour, the communism mentality of, wait a second, you're subcontractors. We don't pay for your flights. We don't pay for your hotels. But we're going to tell you where you're going to play golf as a subcontractor. Let me explain this to you. I own my own painting business. It's like I go paint your house, and then you tell me after, no, you can't paint the Joneses' house down the street because they're my competitors, whatever it is. So you can't go do that. And I'm like, wait a second, I got to make a buck here. I'm a subcontractor, just like the guys on the PGA Tour are. They're paying their own way, everybody. And the only reason why they're getting anything is because they're getting sponsorship money that subsidizes the travel expenses for them. But not everybody on the PGA Tour is subsidized to that level. If you go check, the only top 125 golfers in the world are exempt for the next year. The rest of them have to go back to Q school to try to qualify. Now, look at all the golfers in the world out there, everybody. 125 are right there. You go check what that list is. So you're trying to tell me there's not room for someone like Live Golf. There's not someone. It's bullshit, guys. Jay Monahan should be looked into, the PGA.
Well, they're going to have to do something.
He has to be looked into. He actually said the other day that Dustin Johnson and the rest of them, Bruce Koepka, they're not ever going to ever be able to play on the PGA Tour again, as far as he's concerned. Now, listen, what he did make a mistake was he forgot that you can still play in the Masters.
Yeah.
You can still play. You
British
can still
Open.
play British Open. You can play in the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
You just can't play in the PGA Championship, which is by easily the fourth least most popular major. So what happens now? Bruce Koepka, who don't give a shit anyway, that's all he wants to play in anyway. He was that people used to dog him because he didn't. He was like, "What do I want to play the John Deere Classic for? What do I want to play in this tournament for? I don't want to play in those tournaments. I want to get ready for the big ones, the majors, right?" And now what's he gonna do? Listen, you're gonna see it happen. You're gonna see it happen before the end of the year. Koepka, DeChambeau, or Dustin Johnson will win a tournament on the PGA Tour, regardless of how much Jay Monahan doesn't want them to do so.
I can't wait for that day.
And I hope it's DeChambeau, or I hope it's Koepka, because they'll say something.
Yeah.
DJ Dustin Johnson won't talk. He won't say anything. He'll just grab his money and hasta luego to go along with this $150 million that Live Golf just paid him.
Right.
So all you hypocrites out there that are talking shit and saying whatever you're saying, let me explain this to you. Here's my moral compass now. If Live Golf called us tomorrow and said, "Jesse and Mark, we want you to be commentators for Live Golf. We're going to pay you both $5 million each a year, and we're going to fly you in the private jet to come and do it," Jesse and I would sign the contract so fast. Okay, I can speak for Jesse. Yeah. I'm the me part and the Jesse part, right? We're gonna let you guys commentate because you're gonna talk about golf in a different fashion, just like Jesse and I were hired to do a pay-per-view boxing event. The reason why we were paid to do a pay-per-view boxing event, because we didn't sound like two old boxing guys commentating a boxing event,
right?
And that's why people are like, "Holy shit, that was so awesome," right? Because we got seriously jacked when guys got knocked out. We were jumping up in the air. We forgot we had headsets on most of the time because we were so jacked when guys were getting slapped. And and I thought, wow, this kind of makes sense, because aren't you sick and tired of listening to the same old bullshit for all these years?
Yeah, and I was talking with someone the other day about this. If you have a business and you're the only one of those businesses in town, and then someone else opens the same business, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Either you evolve and be better and try to retain and grow that, or you lose. Those are the two options. And this is what's happening now with the PGA. They have a choice. They have a choice to make. Either we get better and evolve, or we lose. Yeah. Right now, all the choices are pointing to losing. You're like, how could the PGA ever do? Yeah, but things have happened before. It's not out of the question. It's definitely hurt them. It's definitely, right now everyone's talking about it, obviously. But hey, they're talking about Live Golf. They're talking about something else. Say, hey, what is this thing? What is this thing? And I'll tell you what, they know how to target it. If they don't target a younger generation, it's going to be over.
Did you see what they did, Jesse? Did you see what they did today? On Twitter, they announced, in 7 hours, we're going to drop for our next show who's going to be the band.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Who's going to be the band at the next Live Golf? I mean, and we're not talking about garage bands here, eh? These guys are hiring like killer bands to play at Live Golf tournaments.
Now, what about Tiger?
Yeah.
Tiger had some things to say.
Yeah.
You had some opinions about those things.
Well, I did, because he can't be the moral compass, ladies and gentlemen. Either can Phil Mickelson. You understand something? Like, I heard Tiger start piping up. He didn't even make the cut at the British Open. All right. No. So you know what? And done. Listen. Tiger Woods is the second greatest golfer in the history of golf. Okay, let me explain that to everybody at home. The second best of all time. Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer of all time. Now, if Jack Nicklaus came out and said something right now, we all stop. It's like Moses, okay? Jack Nicklaus wants to say something. We all shut up and listen. You know what's funny? I don't live in a glass house either. I've done a lot of dumb shit in my lifetime, okay? So I'm not giving people advice about if you should watch Live Golf or the PGA Tour or whatever the case may be. Tiger Woods, though, thinks because he's such a great golfer, which you are, Tiger, you're a great golfer, okay? Great, one of the greatest of all time. Arguably, you're 1B. Jack is 1A, you're 1B. Okay, that's how close you are.
With that.
Perfect. But when you start giving the moral compass shit to people, I don't think you get it. No, honest to God, Tiger, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Because you know what's funny, bro? Hookers and blow and partying in Vegas, I'm not saying you're a bad guy, bro. I respect you. You came down after it all came down on you, man. You said, "Yeah, basically, I'm a, look at my boy Phil Mickelson right now. Same thing, wheels falling off, doing all kinds of crazy shit. Great. I don't care. You know what I care? I care that you play golf. I don't want to know about your personal life. It's not my business. But when you make it the world's business and then you become the moral compass, I totally disagree. I respect Tiger. I think listen, when I see him hobbling around St. Andrews because his leg is busted up and he's still trying to gut it out, you know what? That's a true sign of a warrior. But I don't want your moral compass, Tiger. I don't, because you're not the guy to be giving the moral compass to anybody. And either is my boy Phil Mickelson now, okay? Because
right.
Phil's dropped the ball in that department too as well, which, hey, Phil, I'm guilty of it too, bro. I'm not saying I'm high or mighty, but I'm also not giving people advice about what they should be watching or not watching.
Absolutely. Now, I can't believe we're going to do this, but we are. We're going to talk about, like, two really boring things. Okay. Tennis. I know you love tennis, but it's boring.
Love it.
Until Nick Kyrgios came along. Oh, I love this guy.
Okay, let me tell you about Kyrgios. And people shit on me all the time because I love him, okay?
Yeah.
You know why they're mad? Because I know what's wrong with him. He's mentally, talent-wise, Jesse, he's probably at the same level as Djokovic, talent-wise. His serve is better as well. The problem is he is crazy. Like, he literally, if you go get him checked out, there's a problem with him. He literally, every point he yells at his box. You know his box? Those people need psychiatric help after every match because he just tortures them every match. But is he probably one of the best things that have happened to tennis in the last so many years because everything else is so damn vanilla? Great. You know how to play tennis.
Yeah, since Agassi. And then McEnroe.
Yeah, Jesse.
Right?
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened. Agassi came to kind of offset the nice guy Pete Sampras.
Yeah.
And then McEnroe offset Jimmy Connors. And then now you have Kyrgios, if he can please just stay in the kind of.
Well, I think he's getting better, to be honest.
He's getting better. I mean, he made it to the finals of Wimbledon. I mean, that's fantastic.
Now, the thing that really bothered me, though, and I think he's got a point here, when he got mad because I can't say this guy's name. Tsitsipas, whatever his name is. Tsitsipas, yeah.
Tsitsipas.
Hits a ball into the stands, hits a fan.
Yeah.
And Kyrgios is pissed because he's like, that is like, he should be kicked out right now for that. What if he's like, if I did that,
oh, for sure.
Not only would I be kicked out of this match, I'd be banned probably for the next 5 years from this tournament.
And he'd be fined, $1 million or whatever. Yeah, 100%.
So, again, there is
different rules for different people.
There's different rules for different people, and it pisses me off. Officiating in sports is shady at best in a lot of ways, because you don't know what you're going to get on any given Sunday. So you have no idea what's coming down the pipe, and then there is different rules for different players. It is. I remember watching the Raptors last year, and it was like a couple people really didn't like Nick Nurse, and you could tell, and that's not just because I'm a Raptors fan. Everyone's like, what? This is weird. Like, what's going on here?
But Nick's too smart, right? Nick is a very smart guy. And you know what happens when you're a really smart guy? Because you're a really smart guy too, Jesse. And you know what happens when you're too smart for your own good? People don't like that. Yeah. They don't want you to know more than they do. And they're the referees. And Nick Nurse is that guy. He's like a scientist of the game. And it disturbs me because I know what you're talking about, because I've seen it multiple times last year with the Raptors. And I was like, really? Like, are we all watching this? Like, this is really happening. And you see that in the NFL. Listen, I have nightmares about the what the NFL did now with the quarterback. I think it's a disgrace to the highest level of football. When Joe Montana played, and when
Joe Montana would be easily the greatest of all time.
Oh,
like, not even a question.
Listen, Dan Marino, and there was I'll come up with a way more. I'm just trying to make this kind of group of guys that I had in my head.
Elway.
There you go. There's another one. If they would play with the same rules today, you understand that their numbers would be at least half more.
Yeah. Well, Montana specifically, because I think that,
Yes.
he won a ton of Super Bowls already.
Yeah.
I think he could have not only, he absolutely could have played longer, and he would have played at a higher level, and I think he could have even got more. Now, yes, okay, Brady is now the GOAT, because history, you can't change that, and
No, you can't.
you can't make the argument anymore either. Brady's done it, so he is the GOAT. But
100%.
that being said, he's also benefited from some of these rules. Yes, there was a time in his career when he did get hurt, and he stayed pretty healthy, but he lost a whole season once from snapping his ankle or whatever, or his knee, or whatever it was.
But he did say that, Jesse. He said it last year. He said it's not fair for defensive players anymore in the NFL. So
he knows, and he knows. He's honest after the fact. Like, he is honest after the fact. He finally came clean about the Raiders thing, and so
yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, it's one of those things that it could have kept going. Now, I want to back to Kyrgios for a second. I want to paint a picture of him, because everyone's just like, oh, he's a jerk. Well, remember in January when he hit a kid with a ball, and the kid was crying, and so what did he do? He stopped the match and went over and handed the kid a racket right away, because again, everyone's like, he's a jerk, he's a jerk, he's a jerk. Well, he is very passionate about things being right. Yeah. And when it's not right, he'll let you know. Now, McEnroe just got mad just because. I think McEnroe himself said, looking back, he actually thinks it did cost him. So that is curious. That's going to be the issue going forward. But that being said, he's what I want to watch.
But Kyrgios is different, though, Jesse, because he does it even when he's winning.
Yes, it's great.
John McEnroe never did that when he was winning. Never.
Yeah, it was when he got worse when he was losing, and then it made him mad, and he got worse.
Kyrgios is different. Even when he's upsets and he's up games, he's still mad, and I'm like, that's just crazy. Like, it's concerning, because I watch him the whole time, and I'm like, oh my God, he just can't stop. He can't stop arguing with his box. And he's like arguing with his box constantly, and they're arguing with him. It's crazy to watch. But I thought to myself, like this is just going to keep going on with this guy. But his talent level is here, man. It's like, that he's not even ranked, Jesse, because he doesn't play enough in regular tournaments to be ranked. But he just finished second in Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, it is
crazy.
It is crazy. But again, he's awesome. I like him a lot. He also got mad at the drunk girl for doing crazy things.
But what did he say? He goes, the referees go, what girl are you talking about? He goes, the one right there that had 700 drinks. You know what I mean? Like, that's
she's drunk out of her mind.
Yeah, she's literally like the Aunt Shirley at the wedding.
And she's yelling at during his serve.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, well, in my opinion. And he's like, it says, it should be coming down to your opinion. She is distracting me when I'm serving in the Wimbledon final. Why is she still here?
Yeah.
100%. If that's Djokovic, that's Federer.
Oh,
if that's
like this.
They are gone. They could point at a dude. They could point at 10 people and they'd be gone in an instant. And so you're like, okay, it doesn't matter who this is. That this guy doesn't get the benefit of the doubt ever.
Well, don't forget, in the NHL, it was the same way. Certain players got the benefit of the doubt, and some didn't because of the way they played.
Yep.
So this is the same in the NFL.
Nazem Kadri.
Yeah. Now there's a prime example.
Right. Wins the Stanley Cup. You can kiss my ass. And he's right, because again, and people like Flaming. And let's say this: the Flames lost. They're in trouble now. They lost Gaudreau, but Gaudreau. That's beside the point. But we'll talk about this. We'll talk about why. So people said instantly it was Sutter. It was Sutter.
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit, because Sutter made Gaudreau valuable. Gaudreau, if you remember before, yes, he was always great. He always could put up numbers, but last year he turned a corner. Not only to put up
he did
the most points in 5-on-5 by over McDavid by 30. He also became a two-way player. He was not giving it over. He did sometimes, but he didn't give it over nearly as much. He actually was responsible, plus being able to score. Okay, fine. Then people start saying, well, it was because of Tkachuk. Well, that line each scored 40 goals, and he was a big part of why he was successful, because Tkachuk took a lot of the pressure on himself so that Gaudreau could be free. The point I want to make about that is the Tkachuk one really pisses me off, because, like we said with Kadri, everybody talks trash about these guys until you get them on your team.
Then you want them on your team so bad.
And a lot of times it's Oilers fans because I dislike Oilers and Leafs fans.
Yeah.
I like them as people. I just think that they're delusional. But you got to remember the Oilers in the 80s. What did they have? They had Glenn Anderson, maybe one of the dirtiest players ever to play the game. That guy hit people with his stick more than whatever. McSorley actually almost killed someone with a stick. Donald Brashear, I think it was. And then you had Esa Tikkanen, who was one of the OG shit disturbers in the NHL, well, like in that era. And so you had a team of these guys, and that did that constantly. So no, you need a guy like that. You need guys like that in not only on your team, you need it in the sport, because that's what people tune in to watch. Sean Avery, I mean, you know, yes, you hate him. Yes, you hate him, but you watch. You tune in because Sean Avery's playing. Your team's playing Sean Avery, and you want your team to destroy him. Fine. But you tuned in because Sean Avery was on the ice.
You're correct. You're correct.
And every single sport, beyond the team, every single sport needs that guy.
But why is Kadri still a free agent right now then? Why is he still available? Like, he's still available.
Well, I think numbers come into that. You know, he just won a cup. And I do think he's tailing down. The problem is also that we had kind of an influx of centers, and this guy was getting used to, you know, he wants a bigger role maybe. So he won't be able to go to a contender, so to speak, which I think is what he wants. And so I think there are people that have offered things and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure the Coyotes would have already made an offer and stuff. But do I want to go there and finish my career being last every season? I don't know.
Out in the desert, no.
I mean, fine, you're in the desert, but I don't know if you really want to do that. I just, but someone will get him. Someone will pick him up.
Did you jump right over top of the Johnny Gaudreau story?
Because
I think what Johnny Gaudreau did to Calgary was so dirty, and I think that
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, he's going to Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, well, first let's talk about money.
Yeah, $2 million less.
Yeah, over $15 million in the total. He took a $15 million less payroll to a team that has been horrible, that was supposed to be good, and they've always just been okay, and then just been destroyed. And he's in America, fine, I'll give you that one, but he's still 8 hours away from his family where they live. Weird. And you are from a city that gave you the shot. Like, nobody else believed that Gaudreau could be anything that great. Really.
No, but Calgary's closer to the cup than Columbus is.
That's what I mean. It was another thing.
Like, what are you talking about here? Like, this is bananas. Like, when he did this, and I started to look at the mathematics and stuff, and I was like, has he lost his mind? Like, it's not even like he did Calgary so dirty, because if you're a player and look at, you know, arguably your best player on the team says, I'm going to bounce to Columbus. Like, if he said, I'm going to bounce, and I hate to say this, but to Toronto, or I'm going to bounce
to another contender,
LA, or I'm going to, I get the LA thing, and I get, you know,
New York,
things like New York Rangers,
even Florida now, like either Tampa or either one.
Florida team. Yeah, that would have made sense too. But Columbus,
I know,
and for $15 million less over the grand scheme of things, it's insane. And I'll tell you right now, if I was a Calgary Flames fan, his name would be Dirt.
Oh, it is. For
Dirt,
me, like, absolutely.
in Calgary. Yeah.
You've just gone into obscurity. Like, that's the other thing too, because these guys, like, they're not. Columbus isn't a premier market. You're not going to be known, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that was it. Maybe he's got too much pressure in Cal. I have no idea. Nobody really does. Nobody knows what his thought process was.
They love him there. There's no way he had pressure on him. Calgary fans loved Johnny Hockey. They love Gaudreau, and I don't get it. In fact, I'm not a Calgary fan, but I'm offended for the beautiful city of Calgary for what Johnny Gaudreau did. I think it doesn't
disgusting. Make sense.
No, it does not at all in any way make any form of sense that he went and did that. And like I said, I can't wait to see when Columbus plays Calgary in Calgary.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely do believe that, you know, he should be booed. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, the only player that I considered not booing was Iginla, because
I totally
Ginla
agree.
wanted to win a cup, and everybody wanted him to win a cup, and he wasn't going to do it in Calgary near the end. So yeah, you go and do what you can. And we got a little bit for him. I forget what it was, but that being said,
Yeah.
this one's weird, and that hurts because that is a huge asset you lost for nothing. That puts them in trouble. To be honest, puts them
in trouble is other people in the NHL that are watching from the sidelines that want to play in Canada or play in Edmonton or Calgary or wherever it may be, Montreal, Toronto, Winnipeg, and they see Goodrow taking less money to leave to the States. If that doesn't say something, I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying but that does say something. Like something, I don't know what it says, but he's saying to people like, oh, I basically what he's saying, I can't stand it. I'm going to leave because I'll give up $15 million to go play in Columbus. Yeah. Like that doesn't make any sense on any level, anywhere, anytime. And it doesn't do well for Calgary moving forward, trying to recruit players.
Then maybe it is like he doesn't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what else?
Like, who's going to give a shit in Columbus?
Yeah, Jesse? No. He gets to skate around and dance around the blue line and not come back and back check and do what he was doing and put up 80 points a year and be fine and not really maybe have to play in the playoffs much. But you're still in Ohio, so I don't really get that one either.
I think Johnny Goodrow is damaged goods. I think he's officially damaged goods. I think he's a guy you don't want on your team. I really don't think so anymore moving forward. I don't think what he's showing me is people in Calgary, anybody that play in Calgary, it's a great city to play hockey in. So I don't think people should look at it that way. I think you should look at that Johnny Goodrow is done. I think he's great. He's going to get a bunch of points every year, but that's as far as it's going to go. Like
it's weird because you don't hear too much about people being pissed off in Calgary and wanting out. Like
never.
You don't really hear that.
No,
like you hear that from other places sometimes, and yes, okay, there was bad years and stuff, which obviously everybody doesn't want to be on a losing team, but it's usually decent. So it was absolutely weird in that. Yeah. I don't know if there's another word. It's weird, and everybody's saying the same. Like everybody's saying that. Like this is weird.
One of the worst scenarios I've seen from a star player from a team going somewhere else is it's just the whole makeup of the whole thing is very weird. Like the only thing I can attribute to is that maybe he got in trouble in Calgary.
Yeah, well,
okay, so because it's happening. The
old Chris Pronger.
Hey, you got to think like this because you're saying there has to be a reason.
Yeah, if there's something they're not saying. I mean, and he said his family, so I mean that's what Pronger said too.
Yeah, so maybe there's a little problem in Calgary and wanted to get out of Calgary, and he had to do it sooner than later. And it's not the first time a hockey player has done that. And proven facts. We're not making this up. It's proven facts that this stuff has happened.
And maybe there wasn't another team that really entered that talk, and his wife wanted out of Calgary. Like that's a possibility. Like that would make more sense. But they would, I don't think they'd say like, oh, she wanted to leave. She hated it here because it was cold. There might have been something else going on. So yeah, I mean it's very possible. It's definitely happened before.
We don't want to start any rumors on the Me and Jesse podcast, but we
don't know anything. We're speculating.
And we're speculating exactly.
But hey, everyone else is speculating. They're just not saying it.
Yeah, that's right.
Really. And then and all the speculation around the Pronger thing turned out to be very true.
It was true.
Yeah, it was all true. So and again, we haven't heard rumors, but maybe something will come out.
Well, look at Connor McDavid recently. He's out holding hands with other people, walking around. Did you see that out there?
And
it's like, I mean, it's like it's the way it is. Like, listen, these hockey guys, you give them a lot of money. They're from podunk nowhere, okay? And they go, here's $10 million, knock yourself out. And they have a few drinks after a game, and they're in another city. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, but they don't realize you're in the generation of video cameras, smartphones, photo cameras, and people will literally have a whole documentary done by the time you get back to your hotel room on your night, so you have to be careful out there, guys. Be very careful.
Yeah, there he is holding some chick's hand.
I'm not making this stuff up, man. It's just the way to go.
Very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's not his cousin, right? So
Well, no.
So you have to understand, like, this is an ongoing thing in the NHL. Like, listen, NHL's nothing compared to the NBA and NFL, though. So that you multiply that by 100 when you get to those two leagues. That's a whole nother planet.
Yeah, it is.
Go do yourself. If you're watching the show, go Google after the show is over. Go, how many people were arrested last year in the NFL? Go check.
Well,
it's crazy.
It is one of those things. And again, we're in the middle of another one because, now the NFL is, or someone's trying to say that the Browns is the most desirable place to go. And
who said that?
It was an article floated today.
Oh,
so then the other thing is does Watson get to play this year? My money says yes.
Yeah, me too. It's the NFL, my friend.
Yes.
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the NFL.
And the Browns gave up their other quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make it work in Cleveland. And they know that he puts butts in the seats and people tune in on TV.
And he's better than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. If he gets 4, I'll be surprised. I'm thinking 2.
I think 2.
4, I'm surprised, but
yeah, the backup plays the first 2 games. Maybe they go 1-1, or they go 0-2, and then they put in. He comes in after that, no problem. But now you have
all
Baker.
Is forgotten. All is forgiven.
Listen, NFL's the best at that, man.
They're very forgiving people, aren't they? Over there at the NFL.
You want redemption?
Unless there's video evidence, then they can't do anything. Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Although there was video evidence of Kareem Hunt, and he still played fine.
Yeah, crazy. It all depends.
I mean, hey,
yeah.
whatever happens.
Ray don't get no pass though.
No, he didn't get a pass.
He didn't get no pass.
No, he was canceled very quickly, and I mean, rightly so. He did. That was pretty brutal.
Oh yeah,
it was bad. So
yeah, it was bad.
But that being said, like the NFL is very forgiving league. Unless
that's why I tell everybody the whole Kaepernick thing. I'm like, you guys can't be serious thinking that there's some kind of thing against Kaepernick. Yeah, when you got guys that you got guys that literally like what's going on right now and what's gone on in the past, and they don't give a shit what you do. They want the best players in the NFL. That's the end result. I don't care if Colin Kaepernick had the chops to play right now, he'd be playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
What Colin Kaepernick did isn't even wrong. Meaning, like, he didn't do anything. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't,
Right.
So you understand. Like, listen to this argument when you're at home going, "Oh, the NFL's against Colin Kaepernick." I'm like, you're an idiot. You know why you're an idiot? Because my boy played. Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
He
there
played.
You go. Won a Super Bowl.
Ray Lewis played. Yeah. Listen, Michael Vick, fighting Michael Vick, is now on the NFL Network, man. He's commentating, okay? So
my gosh.
So stop it.
Jail timed, Michael
Yes.
Vick.
So stop saying at home that, Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed by the NFL. That is absolutely the most ridiculous thing you could possibly say when all these other guys are in the NFL, employed by the NFL, that did like real wrong criminal acts. Colin Kaepernick did not. He, in his mind, thought he was starting a movement. Do I agree or disagree? It's not even relevant anymore. But the point is, if he had the talent to play, especially in the NFL at that position, any team,
he'd be there.
Hey,
they want to win.
The Raiders let him come out and throw the ball around.
Yeah. There was talk that the Seahawks were gonna.
No, yeah, but they let him come throw the ball around, and they saw what they saw.
They're obviously, if he came out there and was bombing it and doing the right things, yeah, of course they'd give him a shot.
But the trick is not bombing it, Jesse. Bombing it with pressure.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Like playing good, like actually doing it. You gotta remember, like Daniel Jones is in the league. There's guys that are horrible out there. So
yes.
So that he would be in because I guarantee you some teams want that guy over what they got if he was going to be that good.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Kaepernick can throw the ball when no one's pressuring him.
Yeah.
No one, Jesse, I can throw dimes, okay? 15, 20-yard dimes, okay? To someone when I'm standing there.
When you have 22 seconds and no one else is looking at
just
you.
Pass me another ball. Yeah. I'll throw it. It'll look awesome. And I'll put that just like when you see people hitting pads. When you hit people hit boxing pads. That's what Kaepernick's
I know.
been
Look
doing.
at my tape. Look at my tape. Well, dude, there's nobody else. You're not even in pads.
No, nothing. No helmet, no mouthpiece, no nothing.
Yeah.
And literally throwing to like all-star receivers. And these guys are going down the field and he's throwing the ball 40, 50 yards. Great. Guess what,
Terrific.
bro?
Decision making.
The
quarterback is decision making.
Brett Favre, who's been retired from Green Bay and from Minnesota for how long? If I threw a ball to him today and said, toss it 50 yards standing still, he could.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, he'd do a few of these just to warm up his arm and boom, he'd throw it 50 yards.
Yeah.
So people, please stop the whole madness, because if these other guys are playing in the NFL today and you think that Colin Kaepernick wouldn't be allowed to play in the NFL, you're an idiot. Okay. Because Colin Kaepernick, if he was good enough, he'd be playing on some team. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question in my mind.
Well, the Raiders brought him in probably to see if they needed a backup. And he wasn't even good. You imagine he's not even good enough to be a backup with Derek Carr.
And that is the point.
That right there. Bang. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? If any team, hey, the Raiders just made the first female black president of their team. Okay, which means they got a set of nuts on them over there. Okay,
yeah.
So
they're not afraid of that.
They're not afraid of that.
Yeah,
so
if any team wasn't, it would be them.
Yeah, and 100%. So I thought to myself, oh yeah, they're going to bring Kaepernick. He's going to be the backup quarterback, and they'll on the 3rd down and 2, they'll put him in, run a sweep, and try to do that because they were doing that with Mariota, and Mariota was doing awesome doing that for the Raiders. And I thought, oh, maybe they'll do that, and I'm okay with it. I don't care. And no, he wasn't good enough. Because the Raiders brought him in and they said, oh, he was nice and everything. And, they were complimenting him more in a like friendly way, but without saying, no, man, he doesn't have it. They just, there's an arc on the ball they want to see from a professional football player. There's a kind of the speed of a ball they want to see. They want to see your feet move a certain way. And his was not.
Yeah.
And that's because when he was playing for San Francisco, when he was kneeling down everybody, he was the 3rd string quarterback at that time to Jimmy Garoppolo and somebody else, nameless, and then him.
Yeah. Well, we know that, but a lot of people don't believe that.
Yeah.
They've never watched football, though. Most of those people have never watched football.
Correct.
And they're making that assessment.
But we're giving them the background that you don't understand all the degenerates that are still in the NFL that have been arrested for not not just DUIs. DUIs are a common thing in the NFL. You can go look that up yourself. You'll see a list of DUIs. I'm talking about dog fighting, and he's not just on Michael Vick's not
murder.
Just murder. Like it's crazy. So the bodyguard did it. My bodyguard did it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was him. And he took the rap for it, and it's crazy. But the moral of the story is, if you think the NFL and you think the PGA Tour is above certain things and the NFL above certain things, they're not, man. It's very surprising when you start to put it down on paper and you start to do some research and to find out, like Jesse did, that in 2019 was the first time females ever played golf at
the Augusta grounds
Augusta National. Can you imagine that? And you're not and females out there aren't upset about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I was a female golfer, I'd be choked. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. They were putting pressure on where they finally did it. Like, that wasn't that long ago.
No,
at all.
Yeah, 4 years ago. 3-4 years ago. Yeah, crazy.
The discrepancy between what they say and what they do is very high.
Well, that's my point, though. That's why I'm giving Liv a pass. That's why I give Liv Golf a pass. I love Greg Norman. Okay, Greg Norman, the Shark. Okay, so I love him, and I thought to myself, he's the CEO of the company, right?
Smart.
So I thought, you know what? Good, because Greg's a good businessman. Everybody knows that. You can't say shit about him when it comes to that. Now he runs the show. Now it's backed by whose money? Well, as we found out in life, it's back. Everybody's backed by someone's money, and it's lots of times might not agree with their moral compass. But then we can start breaking down all the companies that we're wearing right now, like Nike and all these other people, and where
they all got a pass. They prove, and they still have it, that little tiny children make their clothing and shoes. Like,
But
and it still happens.
What about this, right? I'm wearing a Titleist visor today, which is the only brand I play with most of the time in golf. Whether it's the shoes, whether it's the clubs, whether it's, I've mixed in a little tailor-made stuff this year for the first time ever. You know what's funny? If I start to go check on some of the shafts and stuff like that, and it says made in China. And I said, China is a communist country, everybody. You can go look it up.
Look at half or 98% of the stuff you have in your house.
Yeah, but don't take my word for it. You look up words like China. China's a communist country, everybody, and these are where these things are being made. With these, where they're being made, we don't know. But
check the diamond rings on your fingers. Look where those diamonds come from.
Correct.
Leonardo DiCaprio taught us about that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, that's the point. That is the point. Like, hey, if you cared that much, you wouldn't have 90% of this stuff. But you don't. Yes. But you jumped on the bandwagon because A, you're butthurt about the PGA being challenged.
Yeah.
Or everyone else was super upset about it, so you had to be too, because that's the name of the game today.
Yes. But please, and what we're trying to tell you is we're not criticizing people out there for liking the PGA Tour or Live Golf or anything else to do with that. We're just pointing it out for you at home that you need to know the facts. Before we come on the show, we go research the facts. And what I'm trying to tell people is that when you look at the PGA Tour and all basically the good old boy club that it's been for the last how many years, and now all of a sudden 100. They're like, and now, yes, 100, and now Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, is saying, this Saudi Arabia thing, these guys are the worst, and blah blah blah, and it's like, wait a second, Jay, you better go look in your own backyard first, okay? If you don't say nothing, we don't even bring this up. We never talk about golf ever again on this show. But because there's such a discrepancy involved here right now, that's the disturbing part of it. There's a huge discrepancy about one guy saying one thing, and now they got Rory McIlroy. Rory, I love you, man. Shut up and play golf, okay, Rory? Stop being the moral compass as well. You don't need to be, bro. You need to start winning majors again, and instead of choking on the final round like you did the other day. And you need to focus solely on that because you're a great golfer, okay? But you don't need to be telling people about, where's the motivation that you need to win on, What the hell's your motivation, Rory? How much money are you worth? 300 million? What's your motivation to show up every day to come? You know what the motivation is, everybody? To win.
Yes.
That's the motivation. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You want to win, man. And that's how it works.
Absolutely.
That's how they got there in the first place. Listen, DJ was paid $150 million to play on the Live Tour, and he finished in 4th place in the British Open. That was his motivation.
Yeah.
He wants to win. And I guarantee you, because he's on the Live Tour right now and how he's being treated like dog shit by the PGA Tour when he goes and plays in these things, that must piss him off. If you're any form of man and have any form of heart or any form of real pride, that has to piss you off. Yeah.
So Live is changing its name to not the Live part, but it's right now it's called Live Golf Invitational Series. It's going to be called the Live Golf League next year, and from 8 events, it's going to go up to 14, with 48 contracted players on 12 teams. The number of events will be capped at 14. So that's what they want. They want 14 events, and the team thing I love.
Well, 14 events plus. The other players all play in the other 3 majors.
Yeah.
Not 4 majors, 3. So they basically play 17 events a year.
Yeah.
Okay. So the normal PGA Tour guy probably plays 25, 28. I'll recheck that. You can probably fact check that, but the average player probably plays around 25 to 28 a year.
Yeah.
And that's basically for the money. But if it was up to him, he'd probably play around 20. And that just worked out to that with Live Golf.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
So that's what the part of the deal was. So anyway, also, man, they're getting a good payday then. But also, already they have 8 of the top 50 and 20 of the top 100.
Yeah.
In Live Golf. So, they're halfway there. And really, it's amazing to be honest. They're not, USA Today won't even acknowledge that Dustin Johnson's the world #1 golfer. They say he's top 10 golfer. But so that's kind of the thing that you can talk about there. But they're doing it right. They're doing the team thing, which I really love. I have 4-man teams, and it'll be for the whole season. Like, that's your team for the season. And so then what happens is you do the individuals, but then your best team goes and does stuff too, which I really love. I wish more things did that. More solo events did that. Like that's what F1 does, right? Like there's a team, there's a constructor's title as well. And yes, the individual can still play and still be the best, but your team, you could do things for the team now that bumps them up as well. And what a great way to why not have a draft every year? Like the top how many teams they said they're having
you got it.
12 teams. So the top 12 are the captains, and 12 gets first pick for the next round.
Yeah.
And you go through and you pick your 3 other dudes.
Because maybe I take Brooks Koepka's brother, not let him go on his brother's team to piss him off. If I'm if I'm Bryson DeChambeau, when there's a rift between the two of them all the time, right? Yeah. I'm going to take his brother on my team this year so he plays with me, and just to piss him off. And that's how you get this rivalry going, and let it be so less white gloved in golf, so that we can all understand it. We can see some character. Listen, I tell everybody, DeChambeau, go look at his YouTube channel. This guy, no one watched his YouTube channel when he was on the PGA Tour. All of a sudden, he plays Live Golf, and he's out there having fun, doing all kinds of crazy things on YouTube. And you know what? It's fantastic. Like this is what we need to see. We need to know the golfers. You know what's funny? Name 10. I bet you can ask really good people that know about golf. Name 20 people on the PGA Tour. I bet you $1 they can't do it. Yeah. I bet you $1 they can't do it. You can name the Rorys. You can name Scheffler. You can name the top guys that are playing, right? John Ram, all these guys, like the 5, 10. When you get down to 11, 12, 13, 14, you're going to struggle immensely. You know why? Because the PGAs did a horseshit job of promoting their guys. They promote the PGA brand, but not the players. Not the players at all.
That well.
No, they don't. They don't. And this is what came back to haunt them now, because Live Golf said, no, we're going to promote our guys. We're going to we promote the name, but they promote the guys. So now we have something to link to. We can link to. I never liked Bryson DeChambeau before when he's on the PGA Tour. All of a sudden he goes on Live Golf, and I'm like, this guy is hilarious. Like, I'm watching him do stuff, and it's like I can gravitate to watching him hit 400-yard shots.
Right.
You know what I mean? In his shorts. He's got legs. He's got legs like a Clydesdale. Looks like he should be on the Denver Broncos or something playing running back. I mean, the guy's a giant. But this is what I'm saying. This is what we need to see to get us interested in the game of golf. And you imagine, we've done 1 million episodes, you and I, of the Me and Jesse podcast. We have never talked about golf. We've now talked about it twice because of Live Golf. Yep. We never, ever brought it up one time.
Absolutely.
Never.
Well, everybody, if you have a broken windshield, which, you probably do from winter, give 310 Glass a call. Crystal Glass for all your glass needs, or visit
crystalglass.ca. The clear choice for all your glass needs.
I like that.
And don't forget Meathead, Specialty Meat Shop. And don't forget, everybody, Jesse Martineau is going on his yearly 2-week vacation, starting next week for 2 weeks. So he will be away on vacation. We'll miss him immensely. He'll be enjoying himself. But, we wish you safe travel and enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much.
Try to enjoy yourself. I know you struggle with that a little bit sometimes, but yeah.
Well, we're sorry we ran out of time for Robin Black today. We'll try to get Robin Black back in another time.
We ran out of time.
Ran out of time today. So, that's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. And this has been the Me and Jesse podcast, the most exciting 60 minutes you spent talking about golf.
Crazy.
In probably 93 years. That's how long the PGA has been around. I just checked. We'll see you next time, everybody, on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.